his school on Friday the 26th of November 2021. I was going to record a nostalgia video on top of this, like in the same video, but I accidentally went on the Disney Plus with my VPN on, and I realised that on the American version of Disney Plus, they have Season 3 of Amphibia and Season 2 of The Owl House, so I'm going to put my focus on that once this video is over, and then once they're done, I'm going to be making a hell of a lot of nostalgia videos. It is the head of year's birthday today, so I brought her bar chocolate and gave it to her, and she's like, oh, I'm not even going to eat this, I'm going to put it. So I've been having a bad cough today. She's going to put it in front of her computer, and she said that I've made an old woman happy today. And I went to get the bus to go to the Dome, and I don't know if this is just a one-time thing, because you don't really have a consistency of bus drivers, but this guy wanted us to put our bags in the bit below the bus, so we did. And the thing is, I followed the center in my bag I need to grab out, and there was my water, so I went free PE without water, which was annoying. But when we went up, it was fine. I was reading my book on my phone, and a guy, Gay Wizard, that's the name I have for him, he would constantly be shaking my chair going, you like that, Dylan? And always ask me questions, usually about sex and all. It was fun, or well, it was funny, but but then on the way back, it was basically the same thing, but other people were getting annoyed with me. To the people who were annoyed at me, go screw yourself. That's all there really is to say, because I didn't really do anything to be worthy of your hatred in this instance. In English, instead of continuing with the play, we watched a podcast about the play. And it wasn't like a reenactment or anything like that, it was just people talking about it. The teacher wanted everyone to log on to the Spotify accounts and listen to it. I'm assuming everyone has a Spotify account. I don't. Luckily, hold on, my voice is screwing up. Anyway, luckily, you can get the podcast on the podcast app on the iPad, so that's why I did it. And after it was over, I was screwing around on the podcast app, because I listened to podcasts, just the fact of Alex saying an Inside of You of Michael Rosenbaum, but then I noticed that I think number 2 on the trending session is An Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That is not good. I went to go off my music app and accidentally hit the play button. Hopefully that wasn't enough to get copyrighted. Anyway. Right, Always Sunny podcast hosted by Rob, Charlie, and Glenn. So I'm gonna watch that. But not now. Probably once Disney is over. Yeah, so I'm looking at the podcast right now and it says that it's an unofficial podcast, despite the fact that it's literally hosted by Charlie Day, Glenn Harrington, and Rob McElhenney. There's no way you can make it more official than that. Anyway, I forgot to mention that at form time, we were told that all six formers are supposed to stay in the study hall for breaking lunch because apparently the wind is so heavy or so bad to the point where there's a hazard of flying objects. But when it came to lunchtime, suddenly you're not supposed to stay at study. In fact, study is locked. So I went round to learning support because I think Miss told me that I can go there on a Friday lunchtime because that's the only time that the library is being used. So when the learning support was talking to Miss, she said, "You should watch that movie. Free guy in it. It's that guy in it, the guy that did the dancing movie. Chris something. She was talking about Channing Tatum. I don't know what movie she's referring to though. I know she's talking about Free Guy, but the dancing movie is what I mean. Because the only thing I know Channing from is 21 Jump Street because he did that and he just sort of his career just died after that. He did 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, and that was it for him. Except now he has I don't know if it's a full role, a minor role, or just a cameo in Free Guy because I'm not watching the movie. But anyway. On Wednesday, we were promised that we'd be watching 30 minutes of Kiss the Vampire today. And it turns out that's not what we were doing. He's shown us the first couple minutes of the movie and told us to write some things like things that are in this scene that you would expect to see in a horror movie or a vampire movie. Then he's shown us a clip about halfway through the movie and said, show me where women are being weak, where women are being strong, where men are being weak, and where men are being strong. I couldn't get anything for women being strong or men being weak. So he was asking everyone for examples, and he came at me and said, give me an example of a woman being strong in this clip. I didn't get from that. What about men being weak? Didn't get anything about that. What about the end of the scene? What do you see? A guy crying. Yeah, but what do you see? Blood. What does that mean? He's dead. So? And I just didn't know. It turns out men don't die in movies before Kiss the Vampire came out. Ever. It's not as if Dr. No came out the year before, where Dr. No dies. But, jokes aside, the class is too vague when it comes to stuff like that. So this, on surface level, seems like it was an incident. But, you know what? Screw the media teacher, this isn't an incident. That's why the name of this video is not Incident. Because it just was not an incident. Because the difference between this and the two other incidents with the media teacher is that, one, he pushed. Actually, wait, that's to say, he just pushed. In fact, he did. Look, I don't know why, I don't remember, but I did have a justification for saying that this isn't an incident when it happened. But anyway, after that was what was supposed to be my first time doing toilet duty. And I got there. Owen Sir kept us late because he wants us to talk about women being strong and men being weak. And the examples that the alert students were given out for women being strong aren't really true. They're not really examples of women being strong. The woman banged on the door because what is that, like, this woman thinks her husband is leading her to go have sex or something, but it turns out it isn't her husband. It's someone else who has shoved her into the room and locked the door. It sounds weird when I describe it that way, but you'll somewhat understand if you saw the actual clip. So her banging on the door wasn't really an example of her being strong, but whatever. And then at the very end, he asks, so, what do you guys like? I film, you don't like it? Well, the thing is that the opening scene seemed alright. It seemed not good, but also nothing was wrong with it. And that middle scene was only bad because we didn't get the context to understand what was going on. But anyway, Toilet Jetty. Because I was late, the female person on Toilet Jetty said, "Don't mind you late," and I explained it to her and said, "No excuses." And someone who doesn't do Toilet Jetty at that time was sitting doing Toilet Jetty. So I just sat behind him. And then the guy who kicked me out last week, 2 weeks ago, and 3 weeks ago came out and also said, "What? Dylan, what are you doing here? I'm on Toilet Jetty." I said, "Well, if you're gonna kick me out, explain it, sir, why you're kicking me out." "Oh, but sir, just passed here." So there were three of us doing Toilet Jetty, 3 guys doing Toilet Jetty, 2 girls. And it turns out that this is the guy coming out. This is his last day. He's leaving. So hopefully there's no more drama when it comes to Toilet Jetty. And then other boys and girls kept on coming in and just staying with us and talking about like going out with me and all that, jokes, banter, and all. Oh, I forgot to mention this before English. I saw this and I thought it was a bunch of crap. Picking media studies was a very easy decision for me, as I am someone who enjoys all of the different types of media. When picking my A levels, my first choice was to choose film studies, and this is because I personally thought that all you did was watch movies. That's dumb. Sadly, film studies was unavailable, so I picked media studies thinking the same thing, which I then found I was very much wrong. Yeah, media studies is very different from film studies. Like, should film studies be taught at schools? No. But film studies was good. Media studies is a bunch of I know swore there, bunch of crap. It is terrible. It should not be taught. 1, it's indoctrination. 2, there are much better things that we could be taking. I think 9 of us that are doing media. I've developed many amazing skills, including analyzing text, learning all types of camera angles, and many media theories. Yeah, the media theories aren't skills. The media theories are a bunch of crap, except for, like, props and possibly a couple others. But, like, Bell Hooks, she can go screw herself. She's not right when she says that gender and sex aren't the same thing, because they are, but this is irrelevant. And so this isn't... Okay, camera angles, that's exclusive to media. But analysing text, that can be used in English and stuff. So, the way I see it, you didn't need to pick media studies for all this. You could have just had an English class with the media teacher, but instead of doing media with him, you do English with him, and you would have learned the same stuff that you needed. But whatever. Media studies is a very enjoyable experience. No, it's not. As I am so interested about this subject and the theory around it. What theory? Which one? Props, Neil, bell hooks. Anyway. And I'm half joking when I say that. I find this subject very relevant within my daily life. Are you transgender? Because that's the only way that I could. As when I am in the cinema, at home, watching TV, I see myself analysing the film or TV show. Well, you don't really do that much in media. Film, yeah, but not media. Because film is like... You watch, for us, say, Attack the Block, and you see what makes it... Not necessarily what makes it great, but... Actually, I'll say Rebel Without a Cause, because I didn't enjoy that movie when I watched it initially, but when I watched it in film studies, I loved it, because I understood it. But when it comes to media studies, if we did Rebel Without a Cause in media studies, it would be like, this film was made in the 50s, back when this happened, this happened, this happened. So it's more the outside context of the film than the actual film itself. So never, and I did do this back when I was doing film studies, because I didn't have any experience in media at the time, but now that I've had experience in media, never compare media studies and film studies. They're two separate subjects. Anyway, this subject isn't an easy one, but it is a very fun and creative subject. But don't be thinking it's all fun and games, because it is very challenging. Yeah, there is no fun and games in media studies. It's just a bunch of crap, period. Hope to pass this subject, and hopefully have the choice to do the next step of the subject in upper 6th. In study, I read more of that book that we're doing in English, and I eventually finished the Custom House introduction thing and got on to the actual book. And I was going to read the first chapter, the first page, and if I didn't understand it, I was going to be like, screw it, and just continue with the book that I'm reading of my own will. But then I realised that the first chapter is only 2 pages, so I decided, screw it, I'll sort of extend how much I'm reading. And yeah, I didn't really understand, because it was written in the 1850s using 1850s language, and the teacher intentionally chosen a copy of the book that hasn't been modernized, basically. So it probably is an interesting read. I just can't understand it because I don't speak 1850s. So, after school, because it was so cold, I decided to go into drama. And there were a couple of people there, and we took a selfie. That is up on at Mr. Dead Homes. And I noticed this before we took the selfie. Diversity, according to the school, is different individuals following each other regardless of skin, intellect, talents, or years. While I wish that was true, it is not. Because that it's sort of shifted. Because if you don't conform, then we're not accepting, we're not tolerating, we're not valuing each other. This segment was 20 minutes long. It's getting worse every day now. It should be getting better every day. This means as of 6 p.m. Walter White when doctors found a cure to cancer, so now he doesn't have any excuses to poison children. I know that it was yesterday, and I know that it isn't celebrated here, but happy Thanksgiving. That is, I mean, I would share this clip, but it is entirely a copyright. Well, might not be copyrighted, but even if it isn't copyrighted, I'll still get taken down for copyright. Although this is a new account that hasn't had anything bad, hasn't done anything offensive yet, except for possibly the caption of my recent post. This is DMs as of 11 past. One of the guys in the bus going home, like when people would tell me shut up, I mentioned how people couldn't compare me to Boris Johnson. I said, don't compare me to Boris Johnson. Compare me to this guy. And I sent one of the guys that's in a recent post, I sent him that video of Spencer from 2 or 3 days ago video. And yeah, let's send that to him. It's Twitter as of 15 past 6. New variant just dropped, boys. That's it. It's the only thing Marcus has tweeted today, and Stone Toss hasn't tweeted anything. There are no trending things worth talking about, and obviously Mick hasn't tweeted. Usually the Twitter section is like the sort of, like the school bit is the tip of the iceberg, and the Twitter segment is the iceberg under the ocean, if you know what I mean. But in this case, the tables have turned because school isn't going good right now.